Walk into any modern survival shop and you're immediately hit with a promise. Safety can be bought. Shelves are stacked with gear designed to look indestructible, branded with words that suggest elite performance under extreme conditions. It feels reassuring. It feels like preparation. But that feeling deserves scrutiny. Because for nearly all of human existence, there were no stores, no packaged kits, no replacement parts waiting on a shelf. There were only people, environments that didn't care whether they lived or died, and the decisions they made in between. And yet humanity endured ice ages, devastating plagues, collapsing empires, and journeys into completely unknown territory. That raises a question that cuts through all modern assumptions. If gear is the key to survival, how did people survive without it for tens of thousands of years? History gives a clear answer. Survival was never built on owning more. It was built on understanding more. The people who lasted were not the best equipped. They were the best adapted. They relied on tools, yes, but only tools that could be trusted to work repeatedly, under stress, without support. More importantly, they relied on systems, ways of thinking, maintaining, and solving problems that did not collapse when conditions did. This is where modern survival culture quietly misleads. It often sells the appearance of readiness rather than the substance of it. And when things actually go wrong, history, not marketing, is the only guide that has never failed. One of the most dangerous shifts in modern thinking is the confusion between comfort and survival. Convenience feels efficient. Comfort feels secure. But neither has ever guaranteed that someone lives through hardship. Historical records show a very different priority system. Tools were judged not by how easy they made life, but by how reliably they kept working when everything else broke down. In Roman military camps, for example, equipment was selected based on how easily it could be repaired in the field. A tool that failed once and couldn't be fixed was worse than useless. It was a liability. That same mindset appears again and again. Arctic explorers, early American settlers, even soldiers operating behind enemy lines in the 20th century, all prioritized endurance over ease. They accepted discomfort because they understood something fundamental. Discomfort does not kill you. System failure does. People in the past didn't die because they lacked innovation. They died because they ran out of water, lost body heat, became disoriented, or failed to maintain what they already had. Once you understand that, the entire idea of survival shifts. It stops being about making things easier and becomes about making them last. Across nearly every civilization, one tool appears consistently: the knife. Not as a weapon, but as a means of creating. From ancient flint blades to the seaxes carried by Norse populations, to the simple steel knives of frontier settlers, the purpose remained the same. A knife turned raw materials into usable resources. It processed food, shaped wood, repaired tools, cut fibers, and supported the creation of other tools entirely. What mattered historically was not how sharp a blade was at the start, but how long it could remain useful. Maintenance was constant. Edges were restored using stones found in the environment. Handles were repaired. Blades were passed down. The lesson here is simple and often ignored. A tool that can be restored indefinitely is more valuable than one that performs perfectly once. In real survival conditions, sharpness fades. The ability to restore sharpness is what matters. Modern thinking often reduces fire to comfort. Heat, light, maybe cooking. But historically, fire was something much more powerful. It was control over uncertainty. Archaeological evidence shows humans managing fire hundreds of thousands of years ago, not for convenience, but to dominate their surroundings. Fire made unsafe water drinkable. It transformed raw food into usable calories. It hardened tools, provided signals, and created defensive boundaries. What made fire reliable was not advanced equipment, but dependable methods. Flint and steel, friction techniques, and later ferro rods all shared a key trait. They worked without complex parts. They functioned when wet, cold, or damaged. More importantly, people did not rely on a single method. They relied on knowledge. Roman soldiers trained to start fires in poor conditions. Indigenous Arctic groups carried embers across migrations. Early explorers ensured they could create fire in multiple ways. Not because they had extra gear, but because they had skill, That is real redundancy. It's not more tools, but more ways to solve the same problem. While weapons dominate modern imagination, archaeology consistently highlights something else: containers. Cooking vessels lasted longer than blades in many excavation sites. Clay pots were repaired repeatedly. Metal kettles were reshaped and reused. The reason is brutally simple. Without a container, water cannot be made safe. Without a container, food cannot be properly prepared or stored. During the expedition led by Meriwether Lewis and William Clark, journals repeatedly emphasized the importance of kettles and containers, not rifles, not ammunition, containers, because dehydration and malnutrition end lives faster than most threats people fear. A container turns an environment into a resource. Without it, survival becomes a countdown. Cordage rarely gets attention, but it appears everywhere in survival history. Shelters require binding. Loads require securing. Traps require tension. Repairs require reinforcement. From animal sinew used by early hunters to plant fibers twisted into rope across cultures, cordage enabled structure. But history reveals something more important than the material itself. People knew how to make it. This is a critical difference. Carrying rope is temporary. Understanding how to create it is permanent. Frontier settlers routinely produced cordage from bark, grasses, and animal hair. It was a skill, not a product. That skill allowed them to rebuild, repair, and adapt continuously. And that ability to adapt is what survival has always favored. At first glance, tools like axes seem inefficient. They are heavy and demand effort. But history never abandoned them, and the reason is clear. They save energy. A knife can cut wood, but an axe processes it. Tasks that would take hours with a smaller tool can be completed quickly with a heavier one. In survival, this matters more than convenience. Energy is a limited resource, and conserving it determines endurance. Historical accounts from settlers and engineers consistently show the same pattern. Tools that reduce labor extend survival time. That is why axes remained essential even when weight mattered. They were not carried because they were versatile, were carried because they were efficient. Needles and thread rarely appear in modern survival fantasies, but they appear constantly in real historical accounts. Clothing failure was not a minor inconvenience. It was a direct path to exposure, illness, and death. Before modern medicine, prevention was everything. A torn coat allowed cold to enter. A damaged boot led to injury. A small issue left unaddressed became fatal. Sewing tools allowed people to maintain their protective layers. They extended the lifespan of clothing and prevented small problems from escalating. Survival was not about dramatic action. It was about consistent maintenance. The people who lasted were not the strongest. They were the most careful. Before electricity, darkness introduced danger. Not because it was uncomfortable, but because it increased the chance of mistakes. Candles, oil lamps, and lanterns were used across civilizations, not for luxury, but for safety. They allowed people to work, repair, and plan without rushing. More importantly, they preserved routine. Exploration records from the 18th and 19th centuries repeatedly mention the importance of steady light. It's not brightness, but reliability. Because in survival, seeing clearly is more important than seeing far. Light reduced errors, and fewer errors meant fewer injuries, and fewer injuries meant a greater chance of survival. History shows that getting lost has ended more lives than hunger ever did. Roman forces avoided unfamiliar terrain because disorientation disrupted supply lines. Polar expeditions failed not just due to cold, but due to navigational mistakes that compounded every other risk. Simple tools like compasses and maps were not about speed. They were about stability. They forced people to slow down and make deliberate decisions. Modern reliance on GPS has reversed this mindset. Movement is fast, direction is assumed. But when that system fails, the consequences are immediate. Knowing where you are has always been the foundation of survival. Without it, every other decision becomes guesswork. Survival is often imagined as dramatic, but history shows it is mostly constructive. Small hand tools, chisels, awls, wedges, enabled people to shape their environment. Shelters were improved over time. Equipment was repaired rather than replaced. Structures were reinforced. These tools allowed people to turn raw materials into stable systems. Ancient military manuals emphasized logistics and construction over combat, because the ability to build and maintain systems determined long-term success. Survival has always favored those who can create, not just those who can endure. Before antibiotics, minor wounds were serious threats. A cut could become infected. A blister could lead to immobility. These were not small issues. They were starting points for decline. Basic medical tools, bandages, clean cloth, simple needles, allowed early intervention. Historical observations, including those from Napoleonic battlefields, showed that immediate care dramatically increased survival rates. The key insight is timing. Address problems early, and they remain manageable. Ignore them, and they grow beyond control. Survival has never been about reacting to catastrophe. It has been about preventing it. Across all of history, one truth remains constant. Supplies run out, skills do not. When Roman units were cut off, they adapted. When frontier families lost access to trade, they relied on knowledge. When shipwreck survivors endured isolation, they recreated systems from memory. Modern survival culture often emphasizes accumulation. More gear, more backups. But history emphasizes capability. A skill cannot be lost, broken, or exhausted. It travels with you. In real survival scenarios, that makes it more valuable than anything you can carry. Modern tools are impressive, but they are often designed for controlled conditions. Real crises are not controlled. Batteries fail, electronics break. Specialized components become useless without support. Historical tools were built with the assumption that things would go wrong. They relied on simple principles: steel, friction, gravity. They could be damaged, repaired poorly, and still function. That reliability is what made them effective. This is not a rejection of modern technology. It is a warning against depending on it completely. The past is not a collection of stories. It is a record of what allowed people to survive under pressure across thousands of years. The tools that lasted were not the most advanced. They were the most reliable. They worked when people were tired, injured, and uncertain. What connects all of this is not nostalgia. It is evidence. Durability outperformed innovation. Maintenance outperformed replacement. Skill outperformed accumulation. Survival has never been about owning more. It has always been about understanding more. If you value lessons proven across centuries instead of trends driven by marketing, then you are already thinking differently, and that difference matters. Subscribe to Intelligent Survival for more insights drawn from real history, and share this with someone who understands that knowledge, not gear, is the foundation of survival.